Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be giving you guys a update on the Hell 2, which is a game that I covered 2 years ago and I had a blast playing, and there's just so many newer changes to this game that I wanted to share with you guys, as well as give you guys an update on how to install this fan-made Diablo 1 mod that's just so cool and unique. But anyways, there are 29 classes in this game, so we're going to go ahead and hop right into the class creation. I'll show you guys some gameplay, and I'll also show you guys how to install it, as well as go over some of the config changes that I have personally made. So if you guys want to rush to any part of the video, feel free to check the timestamps. There'll be a bunch to go ahead and get to exactly maybe what you're looking for. But let's go and start off with the classes here. So right when you hop in, you'll see that I have tons of classes, and that's because there are 29 classes in this game, and I wanted to go ahead and check out a bunch of them. So first off, you'll see that there is a class, and if I select it, there's also a subclass that you'll be able to select. And these are quite different. There are certain traits and there's certain perks that are only available for that class, or there's something in terms of equipping things that are only going to be available for that subclass. So it does change up the game quite a bit. But I'll go over all of the classes briefly, just so you guys can kind of see them here. But we have the archer over here, but it also can be a trapper, which is kind of cool. And then we have mage, which can also be an elementalist. You could be a summoner and a warlock, but you'll see summoner has another arrow. So if I select summoner, there's going to be even more choices. So it can be demonologist, necromancer, or beastmaster. Just so much content here for you guys to go ahead and select whatever subclass that you want. Now, monk technically also existed in Diablo 1 if you had the expansion pack by Sierra. But there's a lot of stuff from the Diablo 1 mod also that was kind of an expansion pack, the Hellfire one. So you'll see that there's just so much here. And if we go to the Savage, you'll see that if I select the Gladiator, I can specialize into Thyrax, Murmillo, Democarius, Secutor. There's just so many class options. But on top of selecting, let's say, our class, let's say I wanted to be a Berserker, some classes also can dual wield weapons, which is quite cool as well. But if I select Executioner, you can see every class will be able to select 2 traits. Now, these are optional. You don't have to have them, but this is very important because they will be significantly changing up your gameplay. So there's always going to be something called a benefit and a penalty to the specialization. So this one, Gifted, gives us +5 base stats and +5 to maximum stats. That's the stat points that we'll be also allocating as we level up. But there's a penalty of -150% to current level to mana. And this one will make it so our current level to accuracy, so we'll be able to hit monsters. And then it's also going to have a penalty where dexterity doesn't actually increase our armor class. So depending on what build you want to go for, there are some huge ones in the game. I won't go over all of them because that would literally make this video almost an hour long. And that is because every single class specialization will have different traits, which it's insane. Now, some of them do overlap, but there are certain ones that are going to be unique to that specific class. But anyways, let's go ahead, and I want to hop in and share some gameplay with you guys and show you guys how to install it and basically the different mechanics of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into my caster class over here, and then I'll show you guys a range class as well. So you'll see that the resolution of this game looks way better than vanilla Diablo. They've made a lot of changes, and I'll go over some of the config file changes that I have made. But starting off, you'll see that Griswold actually has a crafting system. You can actually socket things. It does cost gold to go ahead and extract the gem from the socket here, but here's another item that has some sockets. So this is where you'd put in your gems, but it does also cost to go ahead and take them out. So just like in Diablo 2, it has different benefits depending on where you put in the gems. So you can also upgrade the gems as well. You'll see what it does depending on where you're putting it in. And then just like in a lot of games, you can upgrade your gems and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay. So right now we are a mage, and you will also see the perks that I have. I have extra life regen and mana regen, but I lose acid resistance from my current level. And then on top of that, we also have this trait called Wild Sorcery, which increases our spell damage by 30%. But there's a huge downside. No potions that restore life or mana can be consumed. So Obviously, huge downside, but it's okay. I'm getting enough mana regen with the perk system, which is something that when you level up, you'll be able to select one of these, and I'll show this off more in a second, but I want to show off the gameplay here. So one thing that's really cool with this mod is I can go ahead and keybind any of these. Like I have this bound to Q and W, like I can rebind these if I want. And that's just really awesome because it's just so much faster to be able to swap between your spells in Diablo versus clicking on it, selecting it. It's much more next gen. And I like this. This mod just has so much fun content. And we go pick up this robe over here. Oh, we're actually full. Thanks because of the way I manage this inventory system over here. But there are assets from other games like Path of Exile in it as well. It stays pretty true to Diablo in terms of, you know, Diablo 1. I'd say aesthetically, they added some new stuff obviously with this game, but I would say it fits the game very, very well. But if you play Diablo 1, like it's Diablo 1. Actually, I want to go ahead and grab the book over here. See if we can get a new skill. There are tons of new skills in this game as well as new items and just a lot of different mechanics. And there's still plus to all skills, like spells are increased 1 levels. I just started a new game, so everything will be really easy to go ahead and like one-shot over here. But the game is quite difficult. In fact, when you guys start off the game, I highly recommend you guys to play on easy. The reason why, unless you're like, I really want an insane challenge, because how it works in the hell is you can't leave an area if there is a monster. And in this game, how skill points work is instead of it being a skill that you'll get on like a tree, you'll actually get these books and you'll learn them. That's just base in Diablo 1. So they kept that, and I actually like that idea because it lets you use more different spells on different classes as well. But I also want to go ahead and explain the perk system, as this is a very important thing. So by default, you'll get 1 perk point per level up, but you can get a trait that makes it so you gain 2, but it has a heavy downside to it, which I'll show off because I think I have a class that I can share with you guys that did select that. But you'll see over here all these choices that we can make. So not only do we get the stat points like you know, the strength, magic, dexterity, so we can put stat points into that, but we also have this perk system where we're able to go ahead and put in points into. If I want like more toughness over here, I can grant myself more of that, and then more life regen, mana regen. I put a lot of points into that. Some of these will have like a level requirement. Some of them will require a previous perk. There are also other perks that are only available for certain classes, so these aren't all the perks in the game. It's just for this class, these are the perks that I happen to have in the game. You can also just get Magic Find, which is kind of cool too. There's one where you can instantly gain a level, which is interesting as well, but it requires Swift Learner at level 5, so it will require other things. This one seems really good too. This one grants you +1 stat point per level up to distribute, and I'm trying to get as many points into that as possible because that's going to go ahead and be able to give us like more of whatever stat we want. But we can also just put the stats straight in. This one has like a bunch of different masteries for this class, but we can also just put in 5 points to whatever. Now, if you're thinking, well, this makes the game way easy, no, this game is really difficult still. Even with all these additions, there are definite times where you will get hit stunned, because fast hit recovery is definitely a thing that has been, I would say, relatively phased out in a lot of action RPGs, where if you get surrounded in this game, you definitely have to be, you know, ready to move and position yourself in better scenarios. But I mean, this is like a base little introduction to the game. And I want to show you guys another character real quick, and then I'll show you guys like a brief setup of the game, because it's quite easy to set up. But I know in my previous video the link to ModDB was outdated, so this is an update to this game, as it has had a bunch of new updates. So I'm gonna go ahead and save real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to a new game. You can see I've made a lot of characters because I just wanted to experience a lot of content with this. So I'm going to go ahead and load in this game, and we'll see where we're at right now. This area is actually, I think, a little bit too difficult. Let's see how much damage we do. So we also got a unique, so a Fulminator over here, and grants some extra damage, and it fires random speed arrows. It also has the arrows that deal lightning damage. We also got the Peasant Cap, which you'll get from returning the Tavern Sign. But this character, so this is our ranged character, and you'll see all the enemies are highlighted in red. So this is one of our spells that we have. It's called Seeing. It's a skill that makes so monsters outside of caster's line of sight are highlighted in red. This is actually really helpful because it lets you know what you're about to approach before approaching. If you've played Diablo 1 before, you're probably used to saving a lot before entering an area because the game is not super easy. But on top of that, in terms of our perks, I've granted myself minus 50 base damage for current level, 5% crit chance. So that could be something that I'm not actually sure if this is actually really good, but that's what I'm trying to build with this. I'm trying to go all for crit. And you'll see that I also have this grim deal. So armor class, life percent, mana percent, the DFE, HP regen, stun threshold are weakened by current level divided by 2. So it's a huge downside, but we get 2 perks every single time we level up. Right now I'm saving my perk points because I'm trying to get something that requires a very specific amount of other stats over here. So that's a sacrifice I was willing to make. So I'll go ahead and highlight them all over here, and then we'll go ahead and just attack some stuff. So you'll see that it's got some like lightning damage, and you can see all like the damage text. If you guys don't like some of these changes, you can definitely change them in the config file, which is kind of the next thing that I want to go ahead and pull up. But I don't want to make this a gameplay video, as I do plan to definitely show you guys some end-game content. I just been playing this for the past couple days, and I thought it was really cool, and a lot of people came into the live stream and were like, hey, how do I download this? So this is the video for you guys. So first off, we'll just have the music roll in the background because I absolutely love Diablo 1 soundtrack, and I know it's been a long time. In fact, I was like, when's the last time I updated this video? And it was actually 2 years ago. But yeah, there's just so much content in this game, and there's again, there's 29 classes in this, and you can actually make the game go into 4K. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is the how to download this, because this is pretty important. So it's on this guy's by the name of Mortar. It's on his Patreon page. I'm not affiliated at all. This is his own links for it. This is not my Patreon, but you just visit the Patreon. You don't have to pledge or anything. It's completely for free. It's just that's where you download it for free. So all you have to do is go ahead and download the game. So all you need to do is download the patch, and then you will unrar the file. It's a pretty self-explanatory thing, but all the instructions are right here. But to really sum it up, if you guys do want it, all you need to do is go into your, just make a folder, add the Diablo .mpq file. So you will require Diablo 1. You can either have the CD and get the MPQ file from that, or you could do a quick Google search. Sorry, I can't post that because, downloading music online is illegal, Kappa. So I can't provide you guys with that link. But if you've bought the game, you'll have this if you bought it online, or if you have the CD, get the MPQ file from that. Or you could do a quick Google search and you probably can find it, I think. You guys can find it. It's not that hard. But this is the file that you'll also need. You're going to go ahead and unrar all the files that come in when you go ahead and download it. And all you have to do is put this file in here and then just open up the Hell 2. But before you open up the Hell 2, I really recommend you guys to open up the config file to make the game the way you want it to be. So there are so many settings in here, and I'm just going to go move this here so you guys can see it. So the most important things really are going to be the size of the game. So the screen width as well as the height is all you really need to change to see the resolution. If you want to go ahead and go to 4K, you can go ahead and do so. We happen to have the game on 900p, so 1600 by 900. I like the aesthetic of this. If you go too high in resolution, it zooms out really far, and some enemies will attack you super far off screen. So depending if you like that or not, that can make the game more difficult or more easy. If you're playing a melee character, the smaller resolutions are better. If you're playing a ranged character, you generally can't hit things super far away anyways, but I think 1600 by 900 looks aesthetically the best for my personal taste, but change them up if you want to. And then also, I recommend also to put on the full screen option on as well, especially if you're playing on multiple monitors. It just makes it really easy. You can set the FPS over here, and if you want default, it's actually 20. The default in this is set to 1000, but if you're having any like VFX problems, change some of these settings, G-Sync, all those things as well. You can change that. Most of these are enabled by default, but other things that have been added into the Hell mod, auto gold pickups, so that's just a quality of life thing. In fact, that should be in, like, I think in every Diablo mod at this point. As I do play lots of Diablo mods, this isn't like every single one. You could also make it so you only pick up items when you hold Alt, because sometimes accidentally you'll just try to attack something and you'll click on an item and that's not what you wanted to do. So you can go ahead and change that as well. There's also a bunch of different visual options to make the game more aesthetically pleasing for your liking. By default, the mana in this game is set to gray. It's just like a color scheme that they went with, but I went ahead and made it blue. Depending on your classes, might not even matter, because some classes will actually have 0 mana in the Hell 2. And then I've also changed the town portal. But there's also another setting that I really recommend. I'll post, I'll post this inside like in a paste bin, so you guys can go ahead and get this as well if you want to. Get my exact settings. So I have one setting that I really recommend, and that's to make it so all quests spawn in. Because in Diablo 1, some quests, they're random, they don't spawn in. It's just how the game works, and it will require you multiple playthroughs to access, let's say, all the content in the game. But there are tons of different items in the game. Like I believe gloves and boots aren't in vanilla Diablo, although lots of mods added that anyways. There's also different art assets from other familiar games like Path of Exile and stuff that do fit the aesthetics of the game. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick little like intro to the video and show you guys kind of like a brief explanation of where to get it. And again, all of the information is right there, and I just basically explained it. All you do is download it, unrar it, make sure your file basically looks like this. You happen to have the Diablo.dat MPQ. That's all you need. And there's also another setting that if you want it, you can do this. You can also download the music file, which is about 2 gigs, and that will also add a lot more music to the game, which is awesome. But anyways, yeah, there's just it explains a lot of stuff on the main website that he's got, which is basically his Patreon. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's a mod definitely worth investing your time into if you are a Diablo 1 fan, as I am myself. But anyways, I'll do you guys in the future with some more content with this game, as I want to kind of reach max level, or at least get to what would be considered in-game, and I'll share more stuff with you guys. So if you guys are fans of Diablo 1 and you do want to see more content with this game, and you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe with the bell notification on, and I'll update you guys with some more content with this game later down the line. But I wanted to give a huge shout out to this game because I definitely feel like it deserved it, because I've been playing lots of Diablo within the past couple of weeks. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. But if you guys have any questions, you guys can feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And what are other great Diablo 1 or just Diablo mods that have came out in 2021 that you guys would like me to cover, because I'm just overwhelmed by the amount of content that Exile just had an update that added goblins to the game. And if you guys want to check that out, I'll put a video down below as well in the pinned comment. You guys can check that video out, because there's just so much good content in 2021 already, and we're just at the start. But anyways, take care guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm signing out. Peace.